Sarah Winters tightened the last wire on her time machine. Her workshop was a symphony of tools, wires, and glowing screens.
Years of work had led to this moment, the moment I would touch the face of time itself.
Sarah took a deep breath, her heart pounding like a drum. She flipped the final switch. The machine hummed. Lights flickered and danced. Sarah held her breath, a bead of sweat trickling down her forehead. The air shimmered around the machine's central core. She had done it. She had cracked the code, unlocked the secrets of temporal mechanics. A wave of dizziness washed over her as the room began to spin.
I have to hold on.
Sarah closed her eyes, clinging to the reality she knew. Her fingers hovered over the control panel. With a final surge of courage, she punched in the date 3000 AD. The world dissolved into a blinding white light. The white light faded. Sarah stumbled, her senses overwhelmed. The air was thick with the hum of unseen machinery. Gone was the familiar scent of machine oil and solder. In its place was a strange mixture of ozone and something vaguely sweet.
Where am I?
She opened her eyes, blinking against the dazzling cityscape before her. Towers of glass and steel soared into the sky, shimmering with holographic displays. Flying vehicles zipped through the air, leaving trails of light. The city pulsed with a vibrant energy, a stark contrast to the quiet hum of her workshop. Sarah had arrived in the future, a future unlike anything she could have imagined. But amidst the dazzling spectacle, a sense of unease crept in. The streets were strangely empty for such a bustling metropolis. The faces that did pass by held a mixture of fear and suspicion.
This isn't the utopian future I dreamt of. Something is wrong.
This realization hit her like a bucket of cold water. Days turned into nights, the neon glow of the city, her only companion. Sarah learned to navigate the crowded marketplaces and hidden alleyways. She observed the citizens, their faces etched with a constant anxiety. Whispers of something called the Great Split reached her ears. It was a time of unrest, of division.
The Great Split. What could that be?
One night, in a dimly lit bar on the edge of the city, she met them, the rebels. They were a ragtag group, united by their defiance against the unseen forces that controlled their lives. Their leader, a young man named Jason, listened intently as Sarah revealed her origins.
A time traveler, huh? You're the first we've encountered. You could be the key to setting things right.
His words sparked a flicker of hope in Sarah's chest. Maybe, just maybe, she could fix this. Jason's hideout was a stark contrast to the sleek cityscape. Located in the dilapidated remains of an old factory, it buzzed with a different kind of energy, the energy of defiance. The rebels welcomed Sarah with open arms, eager to share their stories, their hopes for a better future. She learned about the Great Split, a cataclysmic event that had fractured the timeline. It was a scar across history, a wound that refused to heal. The rebels believed that the Kronos Corporation, a shadowy organization that controlled all aspects of time travel, was responsible.
They hoard time itself. They manipulate events for their own gain, leaving the rest of us to suffer the consequences.
Sarah listened, her heart heavy. Could her invention be the root of this chaos?
Could my invention be the root of this chaos?
The weight of responsibility pressed down on Sarah. The Great Split, she learned, was no accident. It was the result of a failed experiment, a reckless attempt to control the very fabric of time.
And at the heart of it all was a device eerily similar to my own.
The Kronos Corporation, Jason explained, possessed a device called the Temporal Core, a machine capable of manipulating the flow of time itself.
It was this device that had caused the Great Split, tearing apart the fabric of reality and plunging the future into chaos.
We need to get our hands on the Temporal Core, Jason said, his voice firm with resolve.
It's the only way to repair the damage and set things right.
Sarah knew what she had to do. She had to help them, even if it meant facing her own creation gone wrong. The Kronos headquarters loomed before them, a fortress of steel and glass, a testament to the corporation's power. Their plan was audacious, bordering on suicidal. Infiltrate the headquarters, replace the corrupted temporal core with a device of Sarah's design, and escape undetected. Dressed in stolen Kronos uniforms, Sarah and Jason moved with practiced ease, their movements honed from countless hours of training. Security checkpoints were bypassed, guards evaded. Every step brought them closer to their goal and closer to danger. The tension was palpable, a living thing that pulsed in the air around them. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and their mission would end in disaster. But there was no room for doubt, not now. The fate of the future rested on their shoulders. They reached the central vault, the heart of the Kronos operation. The massive steel door hummed with energy, a silent guardian of the secrets within. Sarah worked feverishly, her fingers dancing across her device's controls, bypassing the complex security protocols.
Well done, Sarah. You've exceeded my expectations.
It was Dr. Voss, Sarah's former mentor, his eyes gleaming with a disturbing light. He had been playing them all along, using their rebellion for his own ends.
You were never meant to fix the timeline, Sarah. You were meant to break it, to reshape it in my image.
Betrayal cut deep, a shard of ice in Sarah's chest. They had been played, manipulated by the one person she had trusted. Chaos erupted. Laser fire filled the chamber, reflecting off the polished steel walls. Jason reacted instantly, drawing his weapon and returning fire, providing cover as Sarah worked frantically on her device.
I underestimated you, Voss, but you underestimated me too.
She downloaded the final code into the device, her fingers moving with a speed that belied the pressure she was under. The air crackled with energy as her device hummed to life, its core glowing with an intense light.
Time is a river. You may have dammed it, Voss, but I'm about to unleash a flood.
The streets of the city came alive. The rebels, armed and ready, stormed Kronos facilities, their synchronized assault catching the corporation off guard.
Years of planning, of whispered hopes and dreams, culminated in this moment of reckoning.
The energy surge from Sarah's device ripped through the city, a shockwave of temporal energy that disrupted the Kronos Corporation's control over time. Their carefully constructed reality crumbled around them as the citizens, emboldened by the rebels' defiance, rose up against their oppressors.
The city became a battleground, a swirling vortex of hope and desperation.
But through it all, Sarah's device pulsed with a steady rhythm, a beacon of hope in the heart of the storm. With the temporal core secured, Sarah and Jason raced back to her time machine. Kronos security forces were closing in, their weapons blazing.
But Sarah was undeterred. She had to fix this for the sake of the future, for the sake of her own conscience.
The air shimmered around them as they activated the time machine. The world dissolved into a blinding white light, and then they were hurtling through the vortex of time, a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations. The raw power of time itself buffeted their vessel, threatening to tear them apart.
But Sarah held firm, her resolve unwavering. She would not let Voss's twisted vision of the future come to pass, not while she still had a breath left in her body.
They landed back in Sarah's workshop, the familiar scent of oil and metal a welcome change from the sterile air of the future. The time machine, its energy spent, sputtered and died.
Sarah wasted no time. She raced to her workbench, the temporal core clutched tightly in her hand. With deft movements, she connected the core to her machine, rerouting its power, rewriting its code.
The air crackled with energy as she initiated the final sequence. A blinding flash of light later, it was done. The timeline was set right. The great split, the chaos, the tyranny of the Kronos Corporation. It was all gone, erased as if it had never been.
All that remained was the faint hum of the time machine, and a profound sense of relief that washed over Sarah like a cleansing wave.
The future was no longer a distant, unknown entity. It was a place she had touched, a place she had fought for. And as Sarah looked at Jason, his face etched with exhaustion but his eyes shining with hope, she knew she couldn't simply walk away.
The fight's not over, Jason said, his voice hoarse but firm. We have a chance to rebuild, to create a future free from the mistakes of the past.
Sarah nodded, her heart filled with a newfound purpose. She had a responsibility, not just to fix the past, but to help build a brighter future. The sun rose over the city, casting its golden glow on a world reborn. And in the heart of it all, a time traveler and a rebel stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held. Together, they had stared into the abyss and emerged victorious. The future was theirs to shape.